Well, a very good afternoon and welcome back to Lahti for the start for real of the 2017 Nordic Championships. We had the qualifying race yesterday. Today it's all about the sprints. The qualifying race is completed just an hour or so ago in fairly reasonable conditions, but since then the heavens have opened. The snow coming down in bucketfuls at the moment won't actually affect the race. It's going to make it very, very dramatic indeed. We're waiting for the start of the women's quarterfinals. 5 heats, of course, in that first round.
Tervetuloa Lahteen!
Well, plenty of nations involved in the events yesterday. And we saw just about every standard of skiing that is possible in the qualifying runs. Venezuela, Lebanon, Israel, all producing ski teams. Really, I think a happy occasion is perhaps the best way to describe it. The skiing was not spectacular, but there were 1 or 2 very, very impressive performances. And, of course, it's always a nice way to get the championships underway. Well, the Lebanese sending a strong team as well. They've just started their cross-country skiing careers. Jon's daughter of Iceland was the outstanding athlete in the qualifying race for the women's, and Rita struggling home in 20 minutes over the 5K.
It was very challenging, but we're really happy to doing it. Really, very beautiful to represent our country here, but it's difficult. Yeah, it's the first time for us. Many uphills. Yeah.
Do you think that people in Lebanon will know that you are here, that you do this?
I'm sorry.
So good to see the Lebanese out there. They, just about all those who raced in the qualifying yesterday, raced again today. They were entitled to do so. The qualifying really for the longer races, the 10K for the women and the skiathlon, they won't take part in that unless they finished in the top 10 of the qualifying rounds. Those races have long been forgotten. It's all been about preparation for the skis, for the sprint event. And in these conditions, the ski preparation is absolutely crucial. And don't forget that those who go all the way through to the final stages will have done the qualifying run, the quarterfinal run, the semi-final run, and then, of course, the big one, the final. 6 to go in each heat. And Stina Nilsson of Sweden, very much a race favourite. I'm not sure whether she was taking it easy in qualifying, Mike, but it wasn't a devastating performance. I think she's matured a lot as a sprinter. She knows her best chance was to take that qualifying at 85%.
Yeah, it's a tough call though, isn't it? If you get it wrong, you're seriously punished, but she's safely in the mix and ready for action soon.
Well, the start due off in just a few minutes' time. We'll take a quick... Welcome back to a very snowy Lahti, and the forecast is for these conditions to remain for the next hour and a half. So those spectating are going to have a tough time. Those racing will not be bothered. It's all about tactics. It's all about conserving as much energy for the final stages of the sprint competition. Who is going to take the first world title of 2017 from these Nordic World Championships, the Centenary Championships, as the Finns are calling them. Mike, impressive watching the qualifying run in the women's. Really, once we got through to number 31, 32, we were pretty sure as to who was qualified.
Well, the seeding absolutely dictated who was going to come through, and no major surprises whatsoever. This snow is a bit of a worry, I think. You can see the temperatures there. It's -2, -8 yesterday, and I can't think of a time, Patrick, where the qualifying heat, after that, obviously we have the finals, where the weather has changed as dramatically as this in the 16 years since the sprints were introduced.
Well, of course, the first sprints ever held here back in 2001. Here's a design of the course, a little bit like a wine glass, with the stem shifted over to the left a little bit. Out of the stadium to the right, initially big climb, back down into the stadium, fast descent. You hope you carry as much speed up the other side as possible. The men racing that little bit further, Mike, and the difference is the climb on that first loop.
It is. It's quite a sting, and especially the first loop, you're fatigued. You do get the recovery before the final very steep climb, and then an easy journey back down into the stadium.
And the qualifying times, just pictures of the women choosing their groups, which has become a feature of the sprint races. So tactical. Slightly surprised to see Marit Bjørgen going for group number 5. Is she hoping for an easy ride through to the semis?
Do you know, I think that must be her strategy. As it happens, it is an easy ride with, well, Weng's in there as well, but then Fabian Bibbs 16, we can see it there. It's quite an easy group.
But Usberg's in there as well. Usberg ending up one of the slower qualifiers, number 25. So you've got Bjørgen, Weng and Usberg, one of them likely to go out in the quarterfinals.
Nice spice in that heat, unless the pace is incredibly dramatic.
Krog of Norway thinking long and hard about which group to go in, eventually going for heat number 4. I can tell you, once Ustiakov had put his name in heat number 1, no one else wanted to go there. Heat 2 looks very strong as well, Mike, with Pellegrino in there.
I like the way Ustiakov, he didn't question it, went straight for group 1, and that buys himself more recovery than the rest.
Yeah, the top 11 going in reverse order in terms of dictating. You might just have seen Andrew Young's name. He's made it through to the ladder stages. We're hoping that he was playing it cool in the qualifying. He was almost 10 seconds off the pace of the best, which normally would put you down in 30th position. But Ustiakov slightly disrupting the figures, Mike, because he was, what, 4 seconds clear of everyone.
It was an incredible pace he set. If he does that again, he'll easily get through into the semis.
Well, there's the scene, and the stadium, which was, what, 2/3 empty at the start of the qualifying run, now not quite jam-packed, but it's not a bad turnout for the first night when you consider the weather conditions. Bitterly cold yesterday. It got 4 or 5 degrees warmer this morning, but ever since the qualifying race finished yesterday, Mike, we've had snowfall. How is that going to affect the sprint and the build? The bigger athletes generally don't like it.
Well, I think in the women's race, there's less force goes through the edge of the skis, and the men's race maybe a little more force. So with this new soft snow, there'll be a lot of energy wasted in the compression through this powder snow.
Well, here's the lineup for the first heat. De Bertolis is in there for Italy. We got 3 Italians through to the last 30, 5 Norwegians, 4 Americans, 4 Swedes are there as well, and Germany with 3. Slovenia also 3 going through to the final stages. Now, Stina Nielsen. She's world number 2 in terms of sprinting, but her results of late have been better than anyone else. So many people expecting this to be a Nielsen-Faller showdown. Harsum goes for Norway in this heat, looked very comfortable in her qualifying run.
She did. She looked at 7th position. It was a very good time, better than expected.
Sophie Caldwell, one of the 4 Americans through to the knockout phases. Soboleva of Russia, what is she going to be able to do today? The Russians hot favourites for the men's after Ustiakov's performance in the qualifying. And Victoria Karl, the slowest of the qualifiers. So it's a 1.4 kilometre course, and for someone like Nielsen, it's all about conserving energy. Will she try and dictate the pace? Will she look for a little protection from the wind just as they take their marks? The snowflakes being reduced by about 75% in terms of size.
Problem, Harsum's got a problem. Is there a problem with the gate?
Well, the gates are all open.
They should be closed. There's a problem with all the gates. The starter was ready to fire that gun but hadn't prepared the gates.
So Catherine Rolsted, Harsum there, wearing bib number 7, fastest qualifier in the Norwegian national championships, and if you can achieve that, you can certainly get yourself through to the semi-finals of a world championship. So we are underway at last, and out of the stadium they'll break to the right. The first little hill climb, Mike, it's not too long, but it's quite steep.
It is, up over the bridge, and we're just coming into the climb now. It doesn't look too bad from here, but in reality, when you're standing out in the stadium, thing I'm worried about, Patrick, that the heavy snowfall over the last 15 minutes, is it an advantage to go up to the front early? I think Nielsen's trying to hold back, let someone go out front.
Fastest qualifying time was 3 minutes and 8 seconds for the 1400 meters, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a little slower. We've got far more fresh snow on the tracks than we had an hour and a half ago. Harsham dictating the pace out front, no one dropping off the back quite yet. Nielsen, I think, very wisely tucking in, looking for a little protection.
You know what, she didn't want to lead this out, and even this gain, when you're in the skis, the ski marks of the athlete ahead of you, your glide is definitely improved.
The first loop of the women's is pretty easy, actually, Mike. All you've got is that climb out of the stadium. Now they come back down. It's quite a fast downhill. Be interesting to see how far across the stadium they glide before they have to break into the skate 2 again.
Well, it's certainly in the qualifying, they were coming off this descent here and getting quite a good glide up into the next climb, and this is the first section for recovery after 1:20. Well, Nielsen skis, they're not getting the advantage of the slipstream. On the other hand, De Bertolis, her skis are flying. The Italian, bib 23. Harsham taking no prisoners here. She's wanting to lead this from start to finish.
Well, it's a bold attack. You can see all the soft snow out there. I'm not sure you want to be leading the way in this, especially if you haven't managed to shake off the rest of the competitors. With the extension of this part of the loop, Mike, your position at the top of this climb is even more crucial than it was last year. And I'm not convinced that you want to lead on the way down either back into the stadium.
I don't think so. Certainly not this first time of asking, because of the heavy snowfall, which has just stopped now. It'll be interesting to see the comparison between Harsham and those behind her in the glide factor.
So a good start from Harsham. Nielsen still tucked in second place. We've got Sophie Caldwell for USA in 3. Italy's De Bertolis in 4. Dropping off, and De Bertolis in danger of losing contact with that leading group. Only 2 going through by right. Caldwell making a move on the outside, but it's a left-hand turn into the finish here. And Stina Nielsen looking for a little bit of a gap on the inside. She's been handed it by Harsham. That was a tactical error from the Norwegian. And now Nielsen should dictate the pace into the finish.
Very much. Harsham doing all the very hard work for most of the course. Just 200 meters to go. That was brilliant skiing. I thought it was dangerous skiing from Nielsen, but it worked. She went on the inside.
Caldwell still looking comfortable. Harsham's going to have a job to get up into second place. Nielsen's going to win this one. Not quite as fluent as we've seen from her in the past, but job done. 3:15. My goodness, that is some 7.5 seconds slower than the fastest qualifying time earlier on today. That is the effect of 20 minutes of heavy snow.
And Patrick, if your name is Harsham and you ploughed, you led your way through most of that, that is why she had nothing left to challenge Nielsen at the end of the 1.4.
Now, often, Mike, we say, get yourself in Group 1 to give yourself as much rest between the quarters and the semi-finals. But those who went in Group 1 are going to have the worst of the conditions.
They have this time, and the track will be, as the next heats go on, it'll slowly become compressed.
Maybe Marit Bjørgen had a quick word with the weatherman before she selected her group and decided the later you go in the quarterfinals, the more pressed the tracks will be, the faster it will be.
Well, that's absolutely right, because technically you could have 4 qualifiers from Group 5, which is last of the groups here. This is Group 2. In fact, no, this is the confirmation of timings, Group 1. Sophie Caldwell, that was excellent.
So 3:15.7 is the lucky loser time to beat Harsham of Norway. I suspect that's going to be beaten in this second heat, because we have the world #1, Maiken Kaspersen-Faller, who has dominated sprinting over the last couple of years, along with Nielsen. Be interesting to see how she goes. Hannah Falk goes for Sweden, wearing number 4. Van der Graaf gets through for Switzerland. Good performance by her in the qualifying. There's Hannah Falk. Big cheer for her. And Faller. Will she be able to back up her success in the World Cups Keegan Randall, she's back, and the smile is there as well. A lot of people would like to see Randall go a long way in this competition. We will see how she gets on. She looked a lot fresher in the qualifying than we've seen over the World Cup so far. Feindrich, 2 Swiss in this heat, and then, of course, Lampitz, who won the World Cup in Pyeongchang, the pre-Olympic World Cup, just scraping through as qualifier number 30.
Well, good for her, and, well, she's got a chance here.
So away we go, expecting to see Falla make a move. She's wearing bib number 1, but it's the Swede Hanna Falk who is first to lead down the middle. And of course, Switzerland's Van der Graaf looking very strong as well. She's a comfortable skier. I like the balance on the ski, and efficiency such an important part of sprinting.
Very much. Relaxation. If those muscles are tense all the time, the flow isn't going through, the recovery isn't happening in the legs. And I'm just thinking, Hanna Falk, she clearly didn't watch her teammate Nielsen to slot into the 2nd place, or will she? Yes, she does. So maybe she did watch Nielsen on the big screen, and 2nd or 3rd position is better even now at this stage with that heavy snowfall.
Yeah, 2nd is good, 3rd is fine. You're in a position to watch the leader. Any further back than that and you can get caught out. And at the moment, it's Randall of USA sitting in 4, leading the way around the first corner. Van der Graaf of Switzerland. Just behind her is Norway's Falla, and of course Hanna Falk of Sweden in 3. We might see a few changes. Skate 1 versus Skate 2, Mike, in these conditions?
Well, at the moment, Skate 1, when we get onto the very, very steep climb, they'll be breaking into the 1st gear. Skate 1, I'm quite sure. Falk put in a huge amount of effort to go round in the deep new snow.
Do you fancy Randall's chances? She has, of course, medalled in this event in the past.
I would love to. She's just got such a positive spirit, and I think she's doing everything right to this point. Yes, that was back in Liberec, wasn't it? 2009, she took the silver. Had a baby since then, of course, last year. Now it's the turn of the Norwegian, Falla. I'm just thinking, Patrick, when you think of cross-country sprinters, you think of quite a large body frame and a lot of muscle. Well, Falla is the opposite. She's just, what, 1.60 m and very, very lightweight.
Away she goes, Skate 2 longer than anyone else. I think it's worth pointing out at this stage, Mike, we've had 8 World Championship sprint events since 2001. 5 of those have been won by the woman who won the qualifying. Falla, of course, wearing bib number 1, the fastest qualifier today. She will know those statistics, and she might take some strength from that.
Well, she just, when she went into her fastest gear, she just opened up that massive 10-meter gap over the top, and you can carry that down because they can't slipstream behind you. Good skis.
2:33 past the pylon. Remember that for heats to come. And a very, very good lead at the moment for Falla. She'll look up at the big screen. She'll know exactly what she's got to do. Hanna Falk trying to make a move. Van der Graaf of Switzerland still in a position to get the top 2. Keegan Randall has got to make sure she doesn't get boxed in, and that could well happen with Lampitz coming round on the outside.
Wow, the gate was almost closed there for Keegan Randall. Can she come back from that? It doesn't look likely now.
No opportunity for Falla to ease up. She's going to win this one, but has to keep the pressure on all the way. Falk secures 2nd and a place in the semi-finals, and that heat so much quicker than the first one, which was 1 in 3:15. So a good 3-4 seconds taken off, and a lot of that will be due to the weather conditions, the fact that the snow has now been pressed down. A little bit disappointing with Keegan Randall, Mike, 3:12.5. She's in a lucky loser position at the moment, but that could well go.
That could well, with the conditions, 4 seconds faster this heat was than the previous one. That's a little disappointing for Randall. I thought she looked good. I thought she looked sparky, but blocked in on that final bend.
It's quite a long, flat finish in the stadium with a good rundown into the stadium. Looking at it last night, watching them race yesterday, I just got the feeling it was going to be Falla Nielsen all the way through.
I think so, and the turn of pace that Falla showed there up to the steepest part, can anybody stay with her?
So 3:11.64, the time as we have a look at heat number 3 now. Something slightly unusual here. Mari Laukkanen of Finland is just back from the Biathlon World Championships, and she takes her place in the lineup here. Ševčík for Slovenia, wearing bib number 18, the bib number indicating where they qualified, only the top 30 going through. And Laukkanen, not only is she here for a second championships in a month, she's wearing bib number 2.
That's incredible. Yes, she came fourth at the Biathlon World Championships this day last week in the longest race, 15-kilometer.
Hanna Kolb for Germany. Germany have Krell and Ringwald going in heat number 4. Matvieva of Russia started number 1 today. Ida Sargent, we saw her performing well out in Pyeongchang. A much weakened field, it has to be said, comes from the same place as Susan Dunkley, who medalled in the Biathlon World Championships as well. So I imagine Susan is watching this with her fingers crossed. Greta Laurent for Italy, number 28. So in terms of qualifying speed, it's Sargent and Laurent really competing for that last position. But we'll see if that's the way it turns out. Laukkanen, Mike, is she gonna win this quarter-final?
Well, do you know what? It's very difficult for Laukkanen, Patrick. She's got the out-and-out raw speed, but she's not used to this. She's a biathlete. We don't have racing like this in biathlon, and this new experience may make it a little technically difficult, but she's bought herself space.
Yeah, I think she said, I'll just go from the gun. She's gone off harder than anyone we've seen so far. We'll get a time on the top of the first climb. Lorien van der Graaf. What was that about?
Well, that's an obstruction, and she's been dropped down to last in the second heat. So, and this course does create a lot of potential for obstruction, and two disqualifications when the races came here at this time last year. Brave for Laukkanen, Patrick, to take the lead. Fearless. She's not used to the sprint racing.
Yeah, I'm slightly thinking she's quite excited by the situation. Racing at home, you can quite understand why she's made the move. And of course, Kaisa Mäkäräinen expected to make an appearance during these championships as well.
Quite amazing, isn't it? The raw skaters, the freestylers in the Finnish cross-country team, not as good as Laukkanen. Has she done the right thing? Maybe she has. As I say, not used to the tight racing, so buy herself some freedom out front. But she's setting herself up for clearly being attacked by the rest of them.
Now, the very first heat went round the corner as they exited the stadium in 1:38. So by my reckoning, this group are some 5-6 seconds ahead of heat number 1, which should put them in contention with heat number 2, won of course by Maiken Kaspersen Faller of Norway.
I have to, sorry, Patrick. Yeah, Matvieva, just her ski glide was fantastic off the bridge to catch up quite quickly, catch up with Laukkanen. Would expect the same on the descent back into the stadium.
Laukkanen showing good strength, breaking back into the skate 2, and that opens the gap up just a fraction over Germany's Hanna Kolb, who's sitting in 3rd place now. Matvieva of Russia looks comfortable in 2nd, perfect position to be in at this stage. She'll get a good slingshot down the hill as they come back down towards the stadium, but it's still the Finn leading. Laukkanen working hard to open up a little bit of a gap as she comes round that corner.
Well, 2 minutes 20, Patrick, and Laukkanen has done all the hard work at the front. She's set herself up a little there to be taken by Matvieva, I think, in this home straight.
2:33 past the pylon for the last group. They're pretty much on schedule for a 3:11, 3:12. Again, Matvieva benefiting from the skis, and Laukkanen may well find herself penalised there, but was there enough room for Matvieva to come on the inside anyway?
Well, I think the jury are pretty strict on this, and I think that may well be an obstruction. I really hope it's not. Laukkanen doing so well.
Did she change course, or did she just start skating? I think she was just skating. Russia now coming through to take the lead. Matvieva's going to cruise through. It's a question of whether Laukkanen can hold off Kolb for that 2nd place, and it's going to be close, but Laukkanen gets it and now has to wait to see what the jury say. Because Matvieva has won that, we may find that there's no protest.
That was pretty interesting. I hope we see a slow-mo of that, because I think without a doubt Laukkanen was aware there was an athlete alongside her and moved over rapidly, nearly took out Matvieva.
Well, Lampitz is now out of the lucky losers. Keegan Randall still hanging on in there as a lucky loser, but must hope that the next 2 heats are not as quick as this one.
Well, this is when Matvieva had to go around the outside. She tried to come in on the inside.
Well, to be honest, I think that's that's fair enough. We saw Nielsen sneak through on the inside. It's a risky move, Mike, because the person in front is never going to move even further across to make room for you.
Well, Laukkanen really did fly over to close the gap, but that's fine.
So Matvieva is through. Laukkanen at the moment is through. Fingers crossed for all those in the crowd here. Predominantly Finnish. I suspect over the weekend we're going to see an invasion of Norwegians and Swedes to come to watch the events here. And of course the skiathlon's taking place this weekend, the big race for Andrew Musgrave of Great Britain. Little bit disappointing with the British performances so far, Mike, but obviously Andrew Young is through to the finals of the sprint.
Yes, Andrew Young, I think 23rd, 24th qualified. He's fine. He looked like he was skiing within himself.
Annika Taylor missing out, but I have to say, I haven't seen her ski as well as that before. I thought her technique looked fantastic.
It did, and she was 38th, Patrick, only 4 seconds off qualifying into these finals.
So on to heat number 4. Katja Wisnar, the quickest of the qualifiers. Krell, one of 2 Germans in this heat. She'll be alongside Ringwald. Number 15, that is Sandra Ringwald. Strong, needs to be tactically smart today.
It's positive.
Yeah, if she can convert that positivity into speed, then Jessie Diggins could well be the one who comes out on top here. Belarukova, who impressed a lot at the beginning of the season, looking very calm indeed, a young skier from Russia. And then we've got Anna Divik of Sweden. Number 3, though, is Wisnar, the fastest qualifier by some 3 seconds. The penultimate quarter-final.
You mentioned Divik, Patrick. She just recently, 2 weeks ago, won the Junior World Championships. And often when there's no expectations on you, well, there she is. She's going straight to the front. I was going to say, when there's no expectations, great things can happen. Broken pole so early.
Well, that's a disaster for Katja Wisnar, but if there's one woman in this field who is strong enough to make up for that, has she got a pole the same length? No, she hasn't.
Oh,
I think it's about 2 inches longer. That's going to take a little while to get used to.
And Wisnar, look at her bib number 3. She was so fast in qualifying. Now she's Edith Sargent, obstruction.
Well, that was from the
previous
last group. We thought that was going to be Mary Laukkanen, but Sargent is the one who's been penalised. Now, I think this is quite smart skiing from Wisnar, Mike. She's at the back of the group, but she didn't panic. If she'd put in 100% sprint there, she could well have found herself out of contention come the second climb.
I totally agree, but she's trying to set the strap on her left handle a little tighter. Now, that's not easy to do at this pace. It's a sprint after all. You can't really stop and close up that strap.
Yeah, and what it means is that the left hand is going to be tight, trying to control the pole. That tension spreads all the way up the arm into the shoulders. Anyone who we've coached will know all about that. And then it shows in the neck. So it'll be interesting to see how Wisnar's looking at the top of the second climb. She's gone from 6th back up alongside Krell of Germany.
Oh, it's just going all wrong at the moment for Wisnar. Her ski's not gliding fast. Maybe it was because she was in the left-hand track, which hadn't been pressed down. She's going a long way wide now.
Looking for a way through. Jessie Diggins makes her first move, wearing 19 for USA. Sweden hoping that Anna Divik can do something. This is tight, Mike, tight racing. It was always going to be a tricky group. I don't think we thought it was going to be the fastest of the qualifying groups, but it's so tightly packed. There's so much potential for it to go wrong.
Very much. All 6 of them are within half a second. Wisnar's done the hardest work possible, going the long way around, snapping a pole early on, and slowly but surely she's making her way to the front. Little breather. Jess Diggins needs to get straight in behind Wisnar.
Now, to get an idea of whether we're going to get a lucky loser from this group, 2:33, remember, still the quickest time past the big pylon that you'll see in roughly 5 or 6 seconds time. 34, 35, 36, 37. This is going to be the slowest heat so far, and we are not getting a lucky loser out of here, no doubt about it. It's all about finishing in the top 2, and it's flat out sprinting. Diggins Diggins hits the front for the first time.
Viznar just needs to keep her line on the inside there. Belarukova trying to go on the outside. It's slower there. She's not getting past.
It's still a long way to go. There's still an opportunity for Belarukova of Russia, and Belarukova carrying fantastic speed off the bend. She's not going to catch Diggins, but she's safely going through a second place in heat number 4. So America and Russia, the qualifiers from this heat. Ringvall misses out. Biggest disappointment for Viznar. She worked her way back into it, very, very steady. A little burst before the top of the climb, Mike, and I think that cost her in the final sprint.
I think it did. Everything went wrong, everything that could possibly go wrong, and she felt so good before this race. If you snap a pole early on, it's difficult, very difficult to come back.
Viznar wearing 3. Yeah, still struggling.
And I think the effort, Patrick, where she had to really haul the time back, that's why she had no spark left on the last 100. She's absolutely gutted.
Yeah, distraught with that, and you know, it's tough, but that's the nature of sprint racing. Things can go horribly wrong in a split second. Diggins, though, will be happy. 3:12.84. Now, heat number 5. And Marit Bjørgen, who already has 4 sprint world titles to her name, actually looking to make it 4 in a row with a victory here today. She hasn't shown us that sort of form in terms of sprinting this season, Mike. Really, we think the 10K, maybe the skiathlon where Bjørgen's going to come through. But the last couple of weeks, her form has skyrocketed.
It has, and this is a hard work course. And of course, Bjørgen loves hard work. It's a grafter, a muscly course.
Well, there is Bjørgen, the defending champion. She's got her teammate Heidi Weng, who is the World Cup leader, alongside her. Number 17, Gaia Vurik from Italy. A member of the Carabinieri, the mountain police, I believe. Ingmar's daughter of Sweden, wearing bib 22. And Ingmar's daughter missed out on the Tour de Ski this year, hoping to feature in the World Championships. Østberg. Now, 3 Norwegians, Mike. I'm not sure they would have planned on that. Bjørgen, Weng and Østberg, 3 women who've been absolutely sensational in terms of the Tour de Ski and their careers. There is a chance one of them is going out of the competition at this stage. Not a quick start from Marit Bjørgen. She's in the middle of the field, looking for someone to tuck in behind. Maybe that's the 36-year-old showing her age in the first 200 meters.
That's quite incredible. In the old days, in fact, 2003, when Marit Bjørgen won the gold medal in this event, she went straight to the front, dictated everything.
So Bjørgen happy to tuck in behind Vurik of Italy. On the far side, we've got Vesna Fabian of Slovenia leading at the moment. Don't forget, Viznar was the one that went out in the last heat, so the Slovenians will be looking for a little bit of good news in this one.
I'm wondering if this surely can't be team tactics to say to the Norwegians, just take it easy, don't take the lead too early, but you can, without a doubt, estimate they're going to be taking the lead soon.
But when you have a course that essentially is 2 climbs, you want to save as much energy as you can for the second climb.
You do, but at this pace, Patrick, it's not a fast pace yet. It's only going to be 2, of course, 2 clear-cut go through, but the fastest losers have a chance.
Vurik still looking very comfortable up front, beautifully balanced in the skate 2 technique. Marit Bjørgen just edges her way forward, wants to be in a position to push when she feels the right moment comes. Ida Ingmar's daughter on the right-hand side, or now moving into the lead alongside Bjørgen.
Well, Ingmar's daughter, she's a wise old owl, and she was thinking, this pace isn't good enough, I've got to get to the front. She's had a 4th and a 2nd in the World Championship sprints. I don't think the Norwegian skis are going that fast.
1:38 a media time going out of the stadium. They're no quicker than heat number 1. So already we can assume that the likelihood of a lucky loser from this heat is very, very small, unless they really up the tempo on this climb. Marit Bjørgen, Mike, doesn't look like a world champion at the moment. She's sitting back in 6th place, having made her bid to hit the front, just coming into the stadium for the first time.
It's not over yet, but I still don't get this race. I'm amazed the Norwegians aren't having to do the hard work, go wide, get to the front. Ingmar's daughter is doing that at the front, but it's an easier track.
Well, it's still a fairly punishing sprint into the stadium, but it's not usual that you see 3 Norwegians in a heat and they're in 4th, 5th and 6th position. They're running out of time to make their move. Once again, the time check is 2:33 on the big pylon. The last heat was 4-5 seconds outside that marker, and this heat is outside it as well.
I certainly felt in the last descent the Norwegian skis were not going fast, and they always have fast skis. Well, they're coming back now.
Well, they didn't in Sochi. It's certainly not over quite yet. Surely that Weng, Østberg and Bjørgen cannot all go out in the first round of the sprints, but it's on the cards at the moment. 22 Ingmar's daughter looking strong as she rounds the final bend. 200 metres to go for the Swede as she looks for a place in the semi-finals. Vurik is still there for Italy. Now a move coming in from Heidi Weng, who moves up alongside Vurik. Italy or Norway for the second qualifying time. Bjørgen is going out, Østberg is going out, and it's Weng who scrapes through to the semi-finals. Marit Bjørgen's reign is over. 3 successive world titles. She does not make it 4.
Well, that was so strange. Didn't expect that. I thought the Reds would be at the front quite early, but not to be. Rest time now for Bjørgen.
Well, nice to see such a big, brave smile on her face, Mike, but she must be hurting inside after that one.
I think so. She did. I'm quite sure she would have expected to. Well, she was ranked the highest. She had bib number 8. Technically, would have expected her to go through.
I think you might have been spot on the mark, Mike. Skis did not look good on that descent, and with a, what is it, 150, 160 metre descent into the stadium, you've got to carry maximum speed.
There's only 4 Norwegians in these semi-quarterfinals, and of course Harsham, her skis didn't look great either.
Well, there's confirmation. Not good news for the Norwegians. Bjørgen and Østberg are out of the Sprint World Championship race. Heidi Weng scraped through, but did not look like a finalist with her performance on that first run. They've not got long to get those skis changed. What will they do? Look for a different structure? Will they re-wax them? Will they just brush every single flake of wax off the ski?
Do you know, maybe with the snow having stopped, they may well be looking for a smoother base now. It'll be a big, massive flurry in the Norwegian wax cabins.
So, heat number 1 for the men's race. Ustiakov is in there, Skar is in there, Bolshunova is in there from the under-23 World Championships. What is he going to be able to do? Svensson of Sweden. Well, there is Ustiakov, and after his performance in the qualifying and after his strength he showed in the Tour de Ski, he's hot favourite. Petter Northug Jr., the reigning world champion. Many dissatisfied Norwegians that he was given a place in the team, but Mike, defending champion, he gets that 5th slot in the Norwegian team. His qualifying wasn't that convincing, to be honest, but if there's a miracle man in the 30 who've qualified for the knockout phases, Northug is the one.
He is the one. He had that stare down the start line we've seen for what, 10, 11 fantastic years at the World Champs and World Cup.
Well, he's got to hope that he's got better skis than we saw the Norwegians on in that previous heat for the women's race. Not a good start from Northug. Ustiakov in the middle of your picture, going off like a rocket as we would expect. And Bolshunov of Russia also going strong, showing absolutely no intimidation factor whatsoever.
Well, do you know, I thought the same with Jivik in the women's race, the junior world champion. Now, of course, this man, Bolshunov, is the junior world champion. No expectations, no fear, straight to the front.
And Ustiakov goes down. Ustiakov goes down. Pole. Now he's going to have to show exactly what he can do. I think the pole may be all right, actually, Mike. I think he might have planted the pole inside the ski.
Well, he had the fastest qualifying by 2.7 seconds, which is huge in sprint terms. He just needs to relax and slowly pull this back in.
Well, it could cost him come the second climb, but he's an extraordinary beast when he's on his cross-country skis, and he's already back in touch from 6 to 5 to 4, past Petter Northug, up into the top 3 now for Ustiakov.
Oh, he's put a lot of effort in going wide. That's still the new snow which fell earlier. He's burning right now. Petter Northug, on the other hand, is as calm can be. We've seen this for many years. I hope he's got the punch at the finish.
Skara of Norway is the man leading the way back down towards the stadium. That was the extra little bit of track, and actually that takes a lot of sting out of the legs, Mike. That steep climb, it takes them up to exactly the same height as the second part of the course, which the women didn't even go halfway up.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. Look at Ustjugov again, way out in that new fallen snow. The best track is in the middle, or the fastest part of the track.
Northug still with a chance, but it's Skara of Norway who leads. We've got Ustjugov right up there despite taking a fall in the first 200 meters. Bolsjunov for Russia is there as well. Little bit of a gap back to the Swede Svensson.
Now in the women's race, Patrick, we saw the Russian girls with very fast skis. I think that is the same case for the Russian men. Northug's still there. He's got to dig deep and find every fibre of magic that he's ever possessed to get through this one. Skar is really punishing the rest of the field.
Well, he's been leading all the way through, and he goes for another little burst, and Bolsjunov goes down as well. So the second Russian faller today. I'm not sure there's a way back from that situation, and that might give Petter Northug a ticket into the final.
The junior world champion was going so well, so comfortable in second, third place, and then he misplaced the ski poles.
Now we get to see the ski speed as they come back down to the stadium. 2:47, 2:48 past the pylon. Skara, Norway still leading. Ustjugov in second place, the fastest qualifier. Petter Northug hanging on in there. Can he get himself a top two and through to the semi-finals? That might just justify his inclusion in the team. But the defending champion's in danger now. Are we going to see that electric speed that we've seen over the years?
Yes,
Here
we are.
He goes. Petter Northug shows what he's made of. This is why the Norwegians could not leave him out of the team. Ustjugov takes Wow! Northug takes it, 3:22. Ustjugov in second place despite the fall. Give him credit. And Skar 3:23.
Northug saying, why did anybody question me? I'm still the king of sprinting.
Fantastic. Fantastic to watch. So nice to see him back. I'm not sure what all the shaking of the head is about, Mike. Do you think that's the conditions? Do you think it was the way the race unfolded?
I think he might be disbelieving, to be honest, that he's beaten Ustjugov. He's got rid of his own teammate who's ranked 3 earlier, Skar, and he did a great job.
Well, there's the first fall from Ustjugov. There's no doubt that the two Russian fallers helped Petter Northug, because Ustjugov kind of had a lot to give when it came to the final stages. A real shame about Bolsjunov, the junior world champion. But watch this speed from Northug on the near side. It's a devastating finish that we've watched for the last, 14, 15 years, ever since he was left out of the 2006 Olympic team. He has always risen to the occasion on the big occasion.
Do you know, even if you're off form, the winner's mentality will come through and carry, a huge percentage. And I think that's what we've seen from Northug.
3:22.6 the winning time, and need to be under 3:23 really to think in terms of lucky loser at the moment, but that's only heat 1 out the way. Heat 2 is going to be just as explosive. We've got Pellegrino, the World Cup leader. Kleibo, who generally wins all the qualifications, finished 6th today. Has he decided to save something? And Hamilton, an American winner on the World Cup. And of course, America on a high after their success in Hogfilson at the Biathlon World Championships. Here's Pellegrino. He's got to be the man to beat, Mike, although Ustjugov, after his form in qualifying, has sort of made us think differently in terms of who's favourite.
Kleibo, as you said, he often sets the fastest time in qualifying. He's 6th fastest today.
Pedersen.
Swedes must be disappointed. They thought Pedersen was going to, be a little faster. We'll have to wait and see.
Eisenlauer for Germany and Juve for France, the slowest of the qualifiers. It doesn't mean he can't go through. He's just got to play every single card perfectly. Save energy in the first half of the race. Put yourself in a good position for the descent into the stadium, and you have as good a chance as anyone else. Away they go, heat 2, and a very, very strong-looking start from Kleibo in the middle of the field. He wants to dictate.
Kleibo straight to the front, wanting the freedom that buys, but also a little bit of danger as well, because you can be attacked in the final 250 if you're tired from all the lead work. Just thinking, Patrick, when it comes to Pellegrino, bib number 5, he's got the most phenomenal turn of pace, and I think we'll see that, not on the first very steep climb, but the second one. I think he can pass most people in the world with that turn of pace. It's not a fast heat, this one, at all.
Yeah, 38 seconds over the rise. I think already it's become a tactical one. That generally means that the favourites, Pellegrino and Kleibo, are confident that they can do some damage in the last 500 metres.
Maybe that's what it's saying, or I was thinking it was Kleibo thinking, well, I've gone out front, it's not that fast, maybe I'll hide in behind somebody. Pellegrino going very wide. Best race line is on this inside.
Kleibo in a good position, Mike, just looking for space. It's just important to stay out of trouble. There's a little burst of speed from the Norwegian. That's quite intelligent skiing, Mike, because look how it split the group up on the start of the descent.
For a tall guy, he's got incredible leg pace. That turn of that little gear change was enough, as you say, to open up a big gap.
And that gives him a little bit of freedom as they traverse across the north side of the stadium. They'll hear the fans on their left. Actually, they're going to get a few fans on their right-hand side as they start the climb again. Still nothing like the numbers that we saw in Falun 2 years ago, but there's a great atmosphere being generated in the stadium.
That's lovely, big football stadium, and it's absolutely electric now as they come back down into the stadium below the jumps. Where's Pellegrino? I keep on expecting him to change his turbos.
Pellegrino wearing bib number 5. He's on the right-hand side of your screen at the moment. There he is, still sitting in 4th, trying to find a way through, and he's going to have to make a move fairly quickly. It's a left-hand turn at the top of the climb, so Kleibo wants to drift across to his left to shut out anyone who's thinking of coming on the inside. Great run from Juve, 30th fastest in qualifying, and he's still there with Kleibo, one of the world's best, who leads round the top corner.
Well, Kleibo's got decent tempo, but Pellegrino had slightly better, just staying with them, and now Pellegrino, I think, safe. Well, that's a work rate up that climb, and then yes, you buy yourself a lot of recovery time in the first part of this descent. Man down. Didn't see who that was.
Well, it's not Kleibo and it's not Pellegrino, it's Simeon Hamilton. One of America's best chances of medaling at these championships, and that chance has just vanished in a puff of snow. Pellegrino looking good, Kleibo in control, and the two leaders have a 12-meter lead over 3rd position. They can take it very, very easy down the home straight, provided they keep an eye on the big screen.
They need to keep an eye. Pellegrino, that was magnificent. He was a little irritated early. He just couldn't get past, and then that fantastic speed, nobody can stay with it.
Well, with 3:24 on the clock, we're not getting a lucky loser from heat number 2. So Juve, despite that last little burst, will not go through to the semi-finals. Pellegrino, the world number 1, will. Kleibo, who's been on sensational form over the last 3 weeks in terms of sprinting, he is through, and the rivalry with the Italian will continue through to the next phase. Commiserations for the Americans. I think their best chance now is with Jesse Diggins, Mike. Keegan Randall didn't look too convincing.
Oh, that's such a pity for Simeon Hamilton. As you said, he's a powerhouse when it comes to sprinting, and I think he just caused it all by himself. Misplacing his ski pole. Well, we'll have a look. No, maybe not. Interference.
Let's have a look and see where it happened. There he is. He's just trying to tuck in behind Juve of France, actually. I don't think he's got anyone to blame apart from himself. We might get another look at it.
It certainly looked that way. He just clipped the tail end of the skis of Juve.
Wasn't quite as dramatic a fall as we saw from the Venezuelan Solano in the qualifying for the sprint. He was a character who took the longest time on the 5K yesterday. He's back in action today. He's had over 2.5 million viewers on YouTube from his efforts from yesterday. He might get more today. Heat number 3. France, Finland, Sweden, Russia, Poland and Great Britain. Yes, you heard it right. Andrew Young has made it through to the knockout phases, so he's already finishing in the top 30. He won't be happy with that. He wants a semi-final place. Preferably semi-final number 1 would do him nicely. Strandval, well, you don't need to be told who they're supporting in this particular fight. Be interesting to see what Young gets. 22. That's Starega from Poland.
Well, singing a little song there, trying to relax himself. Come on, Youngie.
One of only 2 British skiers ever to have been on the podium in a World Cup race. Does he have medal potential? Yes, he does, but it's a very, very tough job. A top 12, a semi-final place would be a fantastic achievement for Andrew Young. Roy Young, his father, will be a bag of nerves at the moment. They've been working pretty much all night trying to work out the snow conditions, get those perfect skis.
Well, Andrew Young, that's a deliberate start. He didn't want to go up into the front section, so he's playing the economy race here. And a phenomenal reach, power, strength that Andrew Young has at the back there. And remember, last year, it was on the 20th of February, the sprints came here, and Andrew placed 10th. That was a great day for him. And I know, and he knows that he's got a lot more to give.
So Andrew Young at the back of the field at the moment in 6th place. It's Halvarsson of Sweden who leads. Halvarsson, Mike, he was what the Norwegians call the Christmas star of the Tour, in incredible form in December. We saw him win a sprint event in Lillehammer, actually. That was in a classic style. And then a massive descent in terms of form.
Yeah, that's unusual. He had brilliant form early season, inspired. But I'll tell you what, the way he looked down the start there, I've never seen him so focused, so up for this challenge today, Halvarsson. He's gone early, though. He's leading. What about Strandsval? He got all the cheer in the stadium. Bib number 9.
106 to the top of the first climb, and no injection of speed that we saw from the Norwegian Klæbo when the last heat came round this section of the course. And still Young sitting at the back, waiting patiently. Can't afford to let a gap open up between 5 and 6. That would not be a good move. Just a bit worried about the skis, Mike.
Yes, Andrew, well, he just looks so relaxed there, doesn't he? He knows this is going to go ballistic quite soon, so he needs to get himself, maneuver himself up to make contact with this group. And Strandsval, last year he was doing so well in this race, but he was disqualified.
Across in front of the 2 stands in the stadium. It's a small reprieve from the work that they've put in already. And Andrew Young's now some 20 metres adrift from the leader of this group. It's Halvarsson who's been setting the pace, but now Chanavar of France decides to take his turn at the front. And still, the pace is fairly pedestrian.
Well, Andrew, we thought that Andrew looked really tired in the qualifying earlier, and he now needs to pick it up, but he's still looking, sadly, a little on the tired side.
Yeah, this is not the form we saw from him in Toblach, and I can't see a comeback from here, because once they round the summit of this climb, then it's freewheeling back down into the stadium. Well, this is very, very disappointing. I'm not sure what's going on. We questioned his time in qualifying, Mike. We said if he's playing it clever and playing it cool, then that's great news. But he just didn't look convincing.
No, when you're tired or maybe overtrained coming into this, there's nothing you can do. You press all the buttons in the brain, but often the body doesn't follow.
So top 30, but no better for Andrew Young. Now we must focus on the leaders here. Halvarsson of Sweden is still there. The Finns going crazy for Strandval, who's wearing bib number 9 and still in a very good position, but he's got to make sure he finds a route, and Strandval goes down. Oh, can you believe it? One of Finland's best chances. He's out. Halvarsson stays in this one. That's an opportunity for the French and Chanavar to come through. But Chanavar's going to have to fight here, because I'm pretty sure only 2 skiers are coming out of this. Starega of Poland, great finish from him, and he goes through.
Oh,
wow, 3:23, the fastest time. We saw a 3:22.6 in the first heat.
Well, Halvarsson, he did well there. He went out strong to begin with. He got in the mix, and then he decided he wanted this title.
Now, I know Andrew Young suffers from a heart condition, Mike, that sometimes means that it goes arrhythmic. It's not atrial fibrillation, which is a real handicap, but it certainly cost him in Sochi. He lost it in the team sprint event there. I just wonder whether that kicked off during that heat, and it is these repeated intervals that tends to upset it.
Oh, well, that's a real pity. I'm so disappointed. Andrew will be gutted later tonight. That's he had nothing to give there, and he tried. He really did try, but when it's the body is tired or whatever has gone on, I don't know, but it's a real pity for Andrew.
And what about Starega?
Roy just having a chat with him there. Starega, that was good. But Stransval, that's where he fell last year, took out another athlete. He did the exact same thing this time round.
Stransval, number 9, watch him on the outside. Well, actually,
he's brought down this time.
Taken out by Gafarov of Russia, who I don't think we mentioned in the whole race. Gafarov getting caught up with the bollard on the left, pushed over to the right, straight into the path of Strandval, and the Finn, who was poised to make a dramatic finish down the home straight, taken out.
He was ready to explode, wasn't he? Strandval was just going wide to explode up this home straight. Not to be. It silenced the spectators.
They'll come back to life. They've got 2 Finns in the next heat, and I think Yilai, who is generally a very good qualifier, I think he's probably their best chance. There he is with bib number 4. Krug of Norway, one of the favourites for the title. I have to say, Skar is the man who's got the supporters out in the stadium, though, Mike. There must have been 150 T-shirts with his face on.
Skar is the real deal, but he seemed to be a little flat there at the end of the race, maybe saving himself for the semi.
Yilai of Finland getting a fantastic reception, comes from Rovaniemi. Hakkala, likewise, as you would expect. Hakkala, of course, the national champion. He got that title on the 3rd of February this year. Hediger for Switzerland. No Dario Colonia in the sprints this time round. Renaud Jay, a famous name in terms of biathlon and cross-country skiing. Now, Andrew Newell, can he make up for the mistakes made by Simeon Hamilton, who went and fell in group number 2? The 4th of 5 quarterfinals. Krog, Yilai, Hakkala, Hediger, Jay and Andrew Newell of the USA.
I thought they go. Well, Andrew Newell, I hope he can fly the flag for America here. And remember, back in 2007, he set the fastest qualifying time and finished 5th on that occasion. I'd love him to get through to the final.
Now, we've watched the women's quarterfinals, Mike. We've watched 3.5 of the men's. What's your view in terms of tactics?
It's a very strange one. Look at how deep this powder snow. I can't think when we had such conditions, so it changes the racing a little. I think it's best to say 2nd or 3rd in the early part. Get yourself into a decent position for the scramble up the very steep climb before the descent. You need to be top 3 there. So it's economy of effort, I think, in this first part. Those who go out front early, they do risk the challenge. Halvorsen managed, though. He tucked back into the pack and then he fought to the front again.
Little bit of a move coming in from Krug of Norway. I think he's really just making sure he doesn't get boxed in. He's got himself a good position, but he'll be on the outside of the next turn, and it's the Finn Hakkala who has prime position at the top of climb number 1. 109, it's not quick. The last heat was 106 at this stage, Mike, and they didn't have any lucky losers.
No, and well, it is a slow pace, so we can safely say, even from this far out, that only 2 are going through to the semi. Krog, though, doesn't he look good? It's the smallest figure there. He's got incredible tempo, playing safe, that 2nd, 3rd position. Yilai coming through on the outside.
Hakkala still leading as Krog makes another little advance on his left. Yilai of Finland doesn't want to get left out of this one, so he slots into 3rd place, which is just about the perfect position. America hoping that Andrew Newell can do something. Andrew Newell's promised so much for so long, but when it gets to the final stage, it's just found wanting. Is it strength? Is it fitness? Is it tactics? I'm not sure, but so often he misses out come the semi-final.
And so often you've got to be brutally focused to just charge away, brutally push away up the these hills. You can't be a nice guy on the skis going up these climbs. You need to fight for every millimetre.
Hediger of Switzerland is well placed, wearing bib 17 in the black suit that has been associated with the Swiss for a number of years now. It's still Krog who's leading the way up the second climb. Another 20-30 metres to go before he breaks to his left. Here he goes, back down into the stadium. But if he doesn't break away at this stage, he's going to take the two Finns with him.
The two Finns looking good, but they need to close this gap. Krog has got away, and got away by a huge margin.
Yeah, this is a slow heat as the snow starts to fall again. One more heat to go, remember, in the quarterfinals for the men's. It contains one Alex Harvey, who's got a fabulous sprinting record. Krug pulls clear. The two Finns, one of them's going through, one of them is likely to miss out, and that might not be the case if Hediger can pick up the pace and move into second position. 100 metres to go now. Krug of Norway looks pretty safe as he leads the way round the final corner.
Eli putting in a big attack in third place, but losing his balance there.
And it's going to be Hakala, number 10, who goes through to the semi-finals. So we have some home interest in the semis of the men's sprint. They've done a little bit better in the women's so far today. And Laukkanen, perhaps the biggest news in terms of the women's sprint, Mike.
Oh, the biathlete who came fourth 7 days ago in the 15-kilometre biathlon, leading the way in her heat into the semi-final with apparent ease.
Best performance from the 4 heats we've seen in the men's so far? I think it goes to Petter Northug.
No, I think it has to. The man who's so much off form, he just brought all that magic back, and so good to see that magic.
But that sprint, you cannot reproduce that sort of sprint every time. He had to produce a devastating sprint to go through. Now, well, I have to apologise. It looks as though Yilai and Hediger go through as lucky losers. 3:21. They pick the pace up. Well, here's the last heat. We'll just check on the times. 3:22.60, the winning time for the first heat. Our computer seems to have packed in at the moment. I think we might get a 3:24 for Pellegrino in heat 2. Heat 3 we saw 3:23. Heat 4, which has just been completed, 3:21. So Finnhagen Krog, the fastest time so far.
Well, they really did pick up that pace in the second half.
Iversen, a win in Falun in the 30k. The day after, he got second place in the sprint.
Iversen, quite amazing. Another Finn. They love this sprint racing, and at the moment it's looking pretty good.
Now we know why Laukkanen and Mäkäräinen hot-footed it from Hogfilson to get back in time for these championships. A little bit of adoration. Ritvik goes with bib 18 for Russia. Miyazawa, nice to see him in there. The only Japanese skier to get through to the last 30. He's on the left-hand side. That's Baldorf, actually, of Austria, on the left-hand side of your screen. Miyazawa on the near side.
Well, Alex Harvey, a bib 13, the highest ranked. He always plays the wise game. You know, he never likes to take this thing out fast. Well, there he is, slotting straight into the back. But he's got a devastating turn of pace whenever he wants to press it.
Yeah, Alex Harvey, bronze medal in the sprint in 2013 in Val di Fiemme. He went to Falun 2 years later and he took the silver medal. Can he keep that run of success going and take the gold here this time round? We will find out over the next 45 minutes. How important are his tactics on heat 1?
I think they're vital, because it's not what really happens here if you're confident, super confident to make it happen, but it's the energy, I think, you conserve at this stage in the competition. If you can conserve some energy, and for me, Alex Harvey is the best at doing that. I did worry, Patrick, when Len Valias appeared to be so far off his best form, 17 seconds behind in qualifying, and I thought, well, maybe Alex has gone flat as well. But it's looking good so far.
Pensinen of Finland, number 15, I think maybe getting a little bit excited by the occasion. He raced here in the sprint last year, Mike. 32nd position, didn't even get through to the knockout phases.
Oh, the inspiration of the stadium. Going to the front that we've seen so many times is not always the best strategy to lead this out.
Dominic Baldorf in second place, a man who started his skiing career at the age of 2.5.
Hey, that's where you get your balance from.
I'm pretty sure he had older siblings who he wanted to emulate, and by 2.5 he was quite happy standing up on a pair of skis. That's quite an achievement.
Look at Alex Harvey. Even he always leaves it so late, Alex Harvey, but he just doesn't question the confidence that he has or his ability to turn the pace up.
Well, he's in the same position that Petter Northug was in quarter-final number 1.
It's hard work, though, from this stage, passing all this traffic. You have to go wide. You have to go into snow that hasn't been as pressed down, and you risk being taken out.
Yeah, still he's going nice and steady. You don't want to be more than 15 metres off the pace at the top of this climb, so Harvey's got to be a little bit careful. And he's started to make a move now. Alex Harvey wearing bib number 13. Could be lucky for him today. 21 is Dominic Baldorf of Austria. He's been pretty well positioned all the way through. Iversen starts to make his mark. A giant of a man, immensely strong. Harvey, third round the corner.
Well, he was a little bit squashed out there and he tripped up, so 2 little errors, and you just can't afford errors at this level.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get ahead of Ritvik of Russia, but it's not worked out. Harvey still down in 4. It's Iversen of Norway who leads. Baldorf in second for Austria. Ritvik of Austria, of Russia 3, and then Alex Harvey of Canada in 4, and Harvey's got good skis. He's moved up closer to the race leader. Iversen's going to have to work hard on this one. 150 metres to go, and Iversen with that giant stride works his way round the final corner. 3:22.3 the time thereafter.
Alex Harvey going the long way round, but it's working so far. Oh, that was great balance from the Russian, from Ritvik.
Yeah, an incredible recovery from Ritvik, but it's cost him a top 2. He might go through as a lucky loser. The time 3:22.8. Ritvik misses out. Harvey makes it 3:23.1. The dangers of playing it tactical, Mike. You're always going to be in danger of being taken out by someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. But Alex is the magician. He's got that magic ability to get through and round traffic. What about Ritvik? How didn't he go down there? That's incredible.
Well, I'm not quite sure what happened in terms of contact. Did he touch Alex Harvey? Did he get caught by Iversen, who was on the inside?
Iversen, he's just such a relaxed athlete. He doesn't get too stressed about much.
So Norway happy to see Iversen go through. Alex Harvey, the Canadians will be relieved having seen him sit at the back. Welcome back to Lahti. The women on the start line for the first of the women's semi-finals. 12 left in the competition at this stage. We'll just run down the starters in this first semi. Nielsen is there for Sweden, wearing number 9. Sophie Caldwell goes for USA, wearing bib 13. 7 is Harsam. 23, Debatolis of Italy, who had a fantastic first round. Victoria Karl, a surprise inclusion at this stage of the contest. And then Elena Soboleva for Russia, wearing bib 24. But it's number 1. Well, Falla's actually... I think we'd better start again with those lists, because the semi-finals haven't come up, Mike. They've produced the first round. We need to go on to the semi, see if we can get... It's Randall, Caldwell, Falk, Falla, Nielsen and Matvieva. That sounds a whole lot better. And, of course, Falla, who wears bib number 1, the fastest qualifier. Again, a reminder that 5 times out of 8, the fastest qualifier has gone on to win the world title. That is definitely not the case in the men, where only 2 times out of the 8 that's been the case. And on both occasions, he's been a Russian, and a Russian won the qualifying today, Ustiagov.
Well, Ustiagov, he had to put so much work into, after snapping a pole, to catching the pace up, and then he had to put another sprint in, so he looked completely spent after that heat to get into the semi. But Falla is pushing so strong at the front here, and especially when it comes to the huge climb up to the high point of the course. We're coming up to that now, or the bottom of that descent. This is where Falla has got incredible tempo and strength to get rid of the rest of the field. But Nielsen is in there, and of course there's Hanna Falk there, just tucked in behind Falla, the Norwegian, leading. The Russians looking good, Matvieva especially. Her skis were great last time. We'd expect the same this time. Nielsen looking a little tense and worried there.
Yeah, still a bit tight in the shoulders, Nielsen. Qualifying wasn't quite as quick as we thought, but look, she's starting to show her strength now. This is what we saw day after day in the Tour de Ski, and of course, Nielsen was leading into the final day of the Tour de Ski, but then found wanting on the big climb on the Alpe Chemise.
Kicking Randall still in this, Patrick. She's really done everything right this time, and I think fourth position is safe if she can get round the traffic on the bend into the home straight.
2:33, the fastest time past the pylon in the semis. They're 2 seconds quicker. Falla has not been hanging around on this one. Matvieva of Russia starts to make a move, uses the ski speed well. Nielsen stays low. This is a technique that she's been practicing for a long time, and she's in danger of squeezing Matvieva out of this one. And Nielsen goes down, takes Matvieva with her. That was always on the cards, and that was Nielsen's fault and hers alone.
Well, she will definitely get a DQ for that. What about Matvieva? She was in the right place at the right time. Now a chance for Randall to make it through to the final.
You've got to take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way, and Randall has done exactly that. And Caldwell, who knows, might go through as a lucky loser with a time of 3:07.9, and she'll have Falla to thank for that, because the pace was brutal. Nielsen, well, we'll get a shot of her in just a minute.
Well, let's have a read. I think you're right. She completely closed the door on Falla.
In cycling terms, she would have been one unpopular woman. You do not take the outside of the bend and then try and cut through onto the inside. Look at this. There it goes. Matvieva nowhere to go.
There's no winners on that kind of move, and that's a real pity. But Nielsen has the aggression. She normally takes the right line, the correct line. I'm surprised those bindings or skis didn't snap from Matvieva.
Well, you have to feel sorry for the athletes involved, but it is part of the spectacle of sprinting. There's the move. Nielsen actually losing her balance. Matvieva does well to avoid injury on this occasion, but how cool is Falla on the inside? She knows it's all going on, just keeps the rhythm, keeps on ploughing on down the home straight. She's long gone before either the Russian or the Swede are back on their feet.
And what about the instinct from Nielsen? She was up in a millisecond, but of course it was all over.
Well, so much drama. We haven't even got through to the business end of the race as yet. I wonder what's going to happen in the final. I think we're going to see some fireworks. Now, Laukkanen's chance to prove herself again. Did she come here thinking that medals were a possibility? And as you mentioned, Mike, there's no such thing as a sprint in biathlon.
That's the trouble. The only issue is she's not used to this tight pack racing.
We'll see how she gets on. Jess Diggins, still full of joy. One of the great teammates to have around, Jess Diggins, and there's a great spirit in the American team. Ingmar's daughter of Sweden. Has she seen Nielsen go down? She now has to fly the Swedish flag. Heidi Weng, the World Cup leader. She's had a brilliant season. Hannah Kolb of Germany, the only German left in the women's competition, and Bela Rukova, the surprise package. Just wait and see what she can do.
Do you know, since the sprint in Ruka in November, Bela Rukova has been full of surprises. Great tempo.
They're underway, and they were watching the finish of the first semi-final. They will know that finding space is to play safe. And at the moment, Heidi Weng seems happy to settle towards the back of the field. It's Mari Laukkanen, Mike, who's taking the race to the others at the moment.
Who could have believed that? A biathlete who never does sprinting. Well, yes, she had a run out in Toblach, came 18th. That was the first, but normally a 3-4 kilogram rifle on her back. And she's got incredible tempo and fight.
Laukkanen will do a lot of her training up at... now, Stina Nielsen, ranked as last. Yeah,
thought it'd be a DQ, but as last, it's as bad as.
But she didn't qualify anyone. You know, some would argue that Matvieva should have had a ticket into the finals.
I think it was so. Well, it happens, and that is a real pity. Matvieva was in the right place at the right time until she was taken out.
But she was being overtaken by Nielsen. at the time.
Well, Nielsen, I thought, had gone round and actually achieved it, but then she just chopped into the left, and there's no way for Matujeva, nowhere for her to go.
Anyway, they'll be talking about that in the pubs here in Lahti tonight, no doubt. Laukkanen still leading the way as they come back through the stadium. Number 22, that's Ingmarsdóttir in second place.
It's incredibly brave skiing from Laukkanen. Never been in this situation before, but she's done nothing but lead everything. Well, second fastest run out time, and second to Fala.
Is she thinking in terms of a semi-final position, or is she trying to conserve energy for going through to the very final stages? Laukkanen still looking comfortable. Now we see the strength of Ingmarsdóttir, who's got the inside line for the corner at the top of the hill, and Heidi Weng's not given up on this one quite yet. She's wearing 14. Number 20, Belarukova, Mike, just looking a little bit laboured.
She was a little bit. I thought Laukkanen was beginning to suffer. Well, they're all suffering now, but Laukkanen, she's found some new energy from somewhere. And who wouldn't when you're at home with all these spectators?
5 of the 6 still very much in this one. It's Kolb of Germany, who's just dropped off the pace at the back, and I'm not sure she's going to get back into contact. Belarukova has to get in the slipstream. Jessie Diggins sitting in 4th place. She needs to make up 2 positions if she wants to go through to the World Championship final. But it's Sweden leading at the moment with Ingmarsdóttir, and Laukkanen, who is going to get the applause of the fans, who sits in 3rd at the moment. And if she comes through into the top 2, just watch the fans rise to their feet. Heidi Weng goes very, very early, looking for the inside line on the final corner, squeezes out the Finn. Ingmarsdóttir may be cause for concern from the jury there.
Well, Laukkanen, she's just not used to this type of racing. She needs to find a little miracle now if she wants to qualify to the final.
And she's coming strong on the inside. Heidi Weng has the lead. Jessie Diggins going well on the outside. Ingmarsdóttir's up there into 2nd place. Weng's going to miss out by a couple of inches. And Mari Laukkanen, her challenge finishes here, I think, 3:11. They've not gone through as lucky losers. Not a particularly quick heat. The first semi-final went in 3:07, with the slowest of the lucky losers on 3:09.48. So only 2 qualifiers from that second semi. Diggins of USA, Ingmarsdóttir of Sweden.
What a pity for Laukkanen. She did everything right to 3/4 distance, and then she just got tangled up.
2 Americans in the final, Mike. Only 1 Norwegian. We've got 2 Swedes with Falk and Ingmarsdóttir. Fowler, I think, is being handed this one on a plate with Nielsen down.
Yes, Nielsen was so aggressive to get through. What about Diggins? She did everything right. She hid away in 4th, 5th position and then came through just in the last 250 metres.
That's how to race here. No fallers in semi-final number 2. Diggins, though, a worthy winner, 3:10.39.
Track records here. Just now he's moving at incredible speed in here. Totally unbelievable. At 40 miles an hour, it's about speed, power, and overtaking. So surprising. Kick off the ground, switch 90. The most excellent. 200 meters high. Will he land it? Oh, absolutely great.
World-class performance. Move brilliantly. Nexen Tire.
A unique race. The thrill of a new challenge. Courage beats eternity. Ride to Abu Dhabi, the one and only World Tour race in the Middle East.
Well, you're back just in time for the start of the first semi of the men's sprint event here at the World Championships in Lahti, Finland. And we've got 2 of the biggest names here. Petter Northug goes wearing bib 27. Ustiakov wears bib number 1 as the fastest qualifier. Northug sensational in qualifying from the quarterfinals. Can he do it again? All the athletes here will be wise to the way he wins races. And Northug sitting at the back, out of trouble at the moment.
Yeah, Northug, will he try the same strategy? It worked for him last time. Why wouldn't you? But the field is a little stronger this time. Ushchigov, on the other hand, tried to go out fast, of course, the last time, but being a little bit more conservative this time.
But just look at the pedigree of this group of 6 men. We got Pellegrino, the World Cup leader, Kalle Halvorsen, who was the best on the World Cup for the first 3-4 weeks of the season, Petter Northug, the defending world champion, Ustiakov, the winner of the Tour de Ski, Kleibo, the fastest man over a kilometre, bar none, and then poor old Jovian Hediger of Switzerland, wearing bib number 17. He knows he's in esteemed company here.
He certainly is. He knows that this is going to spark up, and it's going to be very sparky. You could almost say that this is the final. Well, the names, you would expect these names in the final, but only 2 will go through by right.
Northug hanging on in there, and if he's in the same position at the top of the final climb, he will have a chance. The Swedes trying to break him early, and Kalle Halvorsen looking very, very strong at the moment. Kleibo, one of the most promising Norwegians coming up through the ranks at the moment, who's on repeated occasions this year produced the fastest qualifying time. Has he got the whereabouts to win the world title?
Ushchigov not trying anything. I would have expected him to go while he's going now, but he's got to follow Kleibo.
It's not about winning, it's about finishing in the top 2. 1:48 on the clock at the moment. Just be interesting to see what the time is going round the hill and out of the stadium.
Just looking at the reaction times, Patrick, from the gun, it was Pellegrino with 0.25 of a second. And the slowest, Ushchigov, 0.48, so he clearly didn't want to lead out, but he wants to be closer to the front right now. He's in, what, 3rd position? Northug going in for an attack. He needs to get up with the company at the front.
Yeah, he'll get a little breather if he can stay with the leading 4 round this top corner. And Kleibo really making a huge burst. That's shaken off Northug a little bit. Pellegrino's still there. Ustiakov is still there. And Petter Northug's not out of this one quite yet, but I think we're down to 4 men in contention for the 2 places. The Swede, Kalle Halvorsen, just finding that a little tough. Halvorsen, for me, pushing too hard too early.
I'm amazed. That's what he did the first time, and it's just too expensive to lead out.
A little bit of a gap between 3 and 4. That could give the leading 3 a chance of going through. Pellegrino's looking for some space on the inside, a risky tactic. We've seen that fail in the past.
Northug's not out of it yet. His glide was fantastic. He stayed in the tuck much longer than everybody else.
Pellegrino leads. Northug waiting for that final finish, and the crowd urging him on. They want to see him go a stage further. Pellegrino's taking the win in this one. Ustiakov starting to look tired after his efforts in the first round. And Kleibo might just have got the second, or there's a photo finish for 2nd and 3rd. Northug will have to wait and see. Is 3:21.5 fast enough to go through?
What was Ushchigov thinking? I know he was roadblocked a little by Pellegrino, but he didn't lunge for the line. That, for me, looked a little more Kleibo than Ushchigov for 2nd place.
Pellegrino is the World Cup leader. Ustiakov, for the first time today, did not look that convincing.
Well, let's have another look. Kleibo coming through so fast, he'd closed the door a little on Northug, and then Pellegrino slows up. Ushchigov has to slow up a little, gets it.
Yeah, he's still got it. He's safely through, but looked a little dead in those last 150 metres. Kleibo, Mike, big effort from him to the top of the 2nd climb. Certainly dampened his sprint into the finish.
It did, but he had that turn of pace that not even Ushchigov, not even Pellegrino could match at that stage.
The 2nd semi-final don't really have much choice now, do they?
They have to go for it. That was fast. That was really fast. 3:20.59.
There you have confirmation of the times. Petter Northug, he's got to hope that he goes through as lucky loser, otherwise his reign as world champion is over. Here's your lineup for semi-final number 2. Krog of Norway, 2nd fastest qualifier. We've got Jilai of Finland and Hakkala of Finland, so there's going to be a fantastic reception. Here we go.
Well, if you can sense some fear, those eyes for me look petrified, but he needs to build that confidence again.
Krog looks comfortable. He had one of the most controlled performances in the quarterfinals. Emil Iversen, he's had a lot of success over the last 3 or 4 weeks. He wants to cap it off with a world title. Here's a man who might get in his way, Alex Harvey. Remember, bronze 4 years ago, silver 2 years ago, wanting to complete that set. Stareger. Well, his smile is as big as the one on the commentators in our next door box, which of course is the Polish commentary box. They are delighted to see him through. Jilaj, he's there, he's got a chance. A top 6 position is there for the taking. The man from Rovaniemi, only 8th in the national championship, so he's done well to get through to the last 12 in the world championships.
Called back, someone jumped the gun. Let's have a look. 0.26 of a second, Jilaj.
Jilaj on the near side. 0.26, I thought 0.2 was the limit.
I thought 0.18 is, I thought, the fastest ever possible reaction time, so they put it at 0.2. Can't make another mistake. And of course, Ushchigov as well is also on a yellow card.
What about a case for doing a deliberate full start, knowing that you're going to do it, and therefore you're the only one of the 6 that's prepared for the restart?
Hey, I'm sure there's an athlete out there who's thought about it. What's the gain? Because you don't want to make another mistake or you're out. Yeah, maybe unsettling the whole pack. Hopefully the timing kit hasn't broken.
They're just checking to see who it is. Well, we can tell them.
Jilaj.
Just a reminder, 3:20.59, the winning time from the first semi-final. We're looking for a time of sub 3:21.5 to go through as lucky losers.
Yellow card, I heard the starter passing that information on.
So an unscheduled delay just to add to the drama here in Lahti. What a great way to get the championships underway. It's been a fantastic night. The snowfall that was forecast to go on all evening has eased off dramatically. Alex Harvey in the middle of the picture for Canada. He's got on his right-hand side Iversen of Norway. Number 2, Finn Hågen Krog, the fastest of the qualifiers from this group. And then 2 Finns. Finland hoping, having seen Laukkanen go out of the women's, hoping that either Hakola or Jilaj can make it through to the last 6. Here we go. That's not a good start from, I think that was Jilaj, was it, who was very, very slow. In fact, it might have been Stareger, actually, of Poland.
Well, I was just trying to figure who was the most relaxed in that, 3-minute delay, and I think it was Alex Harvey. He wasn't flustered, he wasn't put out, and he's in 4th position at the moment.
Krog skied very sensibly for me in the first heat, Mike. Didn't really go for any sprints at any stage, just made sure he was in the right place to secure a top 2.
And he's got that wonderful turn of pace, Krog, bib number 2 there, when he wants it, and he normally presses that 3/4 off the way up the second huge climb. Is it wise going out the front? We often say that. Hakola, well, maybe he has the engine to leave himself in 1st position all the way throughout this 1.6 kilometers. Would be good for the Finns.
No Finns in the final of the women's event. We have 3 Americans who've made it through to the last 6, so there could be medals coming their way. Fowler still the hot favourite to win the women's. Round the top turn, and this is not a quick heat, Mike, so I think we're only going to get 2 out of this unless the pace changes dramatically over the next couple of 100 metres.
Yes, the previous one was 3:20.59. We've said it a number of times, and then the pace goes ballistic in the second half of the 1.6 kilometres. But this does appear a little more pedestrian. Alex Harvey's realising maybe it is too slow. He's trying to come up into 3rd place.
They're looking to exit the stadium onto the second big climb at around 2 minutes, and they've got a way to go before that will happen.
Ibbotson is very surprised. He's at the back. He's been at the back most of this 2 minutes. Alex Harvey made a mistake. He almost tripped himself up.
Yeah, I've got them about 1.5 seconds down on the first semi-final at the moment. So still looks as though we're only going to get one, because the finish of the first semi was not slow, with Pellegrino leading the way ahead of Ustiagov. Krogh of Norway still in the perfect position. Alex Harvey, he's often leaves it late. You rate his final 150 better than most.
I really do. He's just got some weird way of figuring out which is the best line when it comes to very tight racing. Ibbotson hasn't been able to move forward. He's still at the back, but the Norwegians have good skis.
Now Alex Harvey has got to push the accelerator, because there's a little bit of a gap between 2 and 3. One of the Finns is in a qualifying position at the moment. Krogh it is who leads the way. He's got 400 meters to go, picking up speed, 40 kilometers an hour as he enters the stadium. 300 meters to go now, and one big 180-degree turn that leads into the home finish. I can't see Krogh being caught from here. Beautiful performance from him at the moment.
Well, Alex Harvey has got to find every bit of his magic. Surely that's too much for him to go through in the top 2. Ibbotson coming through now. He had a great glide down the hill. Finland desperate. Oh, Ibbotson taking himself out.
Hakola is the man who's going to qualify in second for Finland. Finn Hagen Krogh cruising through to the World Championship final. Jylai misses out 3:24.6. We said they can't afford to hang around. They just took their time. They gambled that they'd finish in the top 2. Ibbotson, he could have been thinking in terms of medals, but not any longer. His teammate Krogh, though, can think in terms of gold, because that was an immaculate run.
He did everything absolutely right. Second position for the first part. Ibbotson never really seemed at this at the semi-final. Wasn't at the races. A little sprint finish now.
6 minutes 15, Mike. Less recovery for Krogh than we saw from Pellegrino.
That's a huge factor. When we've just got the women's final to take part soon, that'll be, what, 10 minutes with the warm-up and everything. So it's a huge factor, 6 minutes.
There's Ibbotson. Ibbotson's tumble really ending Alex Harvey's chances, although I think Harvey, his mistake came at the base of the second climb. A little stumble from Harvey.
I think Ibbotson pushed Harvey's pole over. That looked pretty tough, landing on his right shoulder. Hopefully the collarbone's okay.
Well, when you weigh 110 kilos,
he's a monster.
The bigger you are, the harder you fall. A lot of artificial snow actually here in Lahti. They haven't had a lot of snow this winter. We've had 24 hours of it falling now, but the base is all artificial and rocks. Welcome back to Lahti, just in time for the final of the women's sprint event, and Jessie Deans has beamed away all the way through the qualifying, through the quarters, through the semis. There's a race favourite. She may be the only Norwegian in this heat of 6, but she is the hot favourite now. Randall, what a comeback it would be if she could take the title. Ingmar's daughter, strong, solid, really dictated the races she's been in so far, so don't count her out of this one. Sophie Caldwell, was she expecting to come through? I'm not sure she was, but she's here. She's going to finish in the top 6. She's got every chance of being in the top 3 and going home with a medal. What a couple of weeks it's been for North American cross-country skiing and biathlon. As if there wasn't enough drama already. The first medals of the 2017 Nordic World Championships about to be decided. Fowler, Diggins, Randall, Ingmar's daughter, Caldwell and Falk.
What a turnaround, Patrick. Normally we see 3 or 4 red suits of Norway in a final at a World Championships. This time it's all about America. 3 American suits. It's a first ever, and setting themselves up for a great chance of medals. And 2 Swedes, 1 Norwegian.
Okay, which of the Americans? Randall, Diggins, Caldwell. Randall with the experience, Diggins with the success this year. Caldwell very much a surprise act.
Well, it's a hard one to call. The way that Jess Diggins has been finishing the final 150, it was, just looking at the bottom of the screen, Alex Harvey has caused the obstruction to Ibbotson. So jury decision deciding that'll be a yellow card. Diggins, yeah, does nothing wrong in the last 150. Randall, very clever, but she lost a little bit of pace in the semi-final, and maybe was lucky Matveyeva and Nielsen were pulled out.
Good cornering skills there from Fowler at the front of the field. She wants to lead this one out. And Fowler, Mike, she must have been quite excited when she saw Nielsen going out.
Well, Nielsen was her main threat, wasn't it? But Fowler, she's just got pace. She's such a light figure when it comes to the final climb, which is coming up very soon. She can match or beat anybody, I think, up that climb.
So leading the way at the moment, we have Maiken Kaspersen Fowler of Norway, Ingmarsdottir in second place for Sweden, with Falk just behind her teammate, and then the three Americans, 4, 5 and 6. But there's still plenty of time to make a move. But this is when they have to start thinking about applying the pressure. The final climb here in Lahti.
Well, and remember, Kiken Randall back in 2009, she took silver medal in this event. It would be great to see her on the podium again.
Fowler, the World Cup sprint leader, the world sprint leader and winner last year. She leads the way. She's got a gap of 2-3 meters, and suddenly Ingmarsdottir is looking tired. Fowler's going to have to keep the pressure on, though. Another 20 meters to go to the top of the climb, and the gold medal's getting closer for the Norwegians.
Look at the tempo from Fowler. She's just getting rid of everybody, what, 15, 20 meters. Jess Diggins still in there. Kiken Randall coming out through on the outside.
And Ingmarsdottir actually providing a bit of a roadblock to the Americans, which has given Fowler an even bigger advantage. She's 40 meters clear on the descent, and she's just got to hold it together around the final corner. 450 meters to go. 2:27, 5 seconds quicker than we saw in any of the quarterfinals. Somewhere Fowler has found some reserves. It's all about second and third here, and it's Jessie Diggins who moves into the silver medal position. The Americans with a chance of 2 medals, because Ingmarsdottir is on her last legs going around the final bend.
She is. Jess Diggins absolutely finding power. She's not just happy with second, she's chasing gold, but unlikely.
The title is going from Bjørgen to Fowler. It stays in Norwegian hands. Bjørgen going out in the early stages, but Fowler supreme. Jessie Diggins, brilliant run from her. She deserves it.
Kiken Randall managed the third place.
Well, how about that? Fowler the champion, America the news, silver and bronze, similar to we saw in Falun, and we were just as surprised then.
Incredible. Yes, that was the 10-kilometer freestyle, silver and bronze. In the sprint race, America second and third. And of course Fowler, well, she did nothing wrong. Nobody could match her at any point on any part of the track.
Yeah, along with Nielsen, she's been the dominant force over the last 24, maybe even 36 months, Mike. So it's not a surprise, but Fowler knows how difficult it is to win the big event. There's so much pressure, so much opportunity for things to go wrong.
So right with that statement, because Val de Fiemme Fowler was third, took the bronze medal in this event. That was back in 2013, and of course in Falun, again, she was third position.
And for the 6th time in 9 World Championships, the fastest qualifier walks away with the gold medal.
It's a course 53-meter climb. It's only 3 meters short of climb of what they had in Falun, which was the toughest course by a long margin in the history of these sprint races.
Well, Marit Bjørgen's comeback was sensational on the World Cup, but I think Bjørgen might have swapped her World Cup victories for a World Championship medal in this sprint event. That has gone to Kiken Randall.
Kiken, that's right. Was it last April, last May, when she gave birth? Quite a comeback.
Yeah, it's a sport for mums, this one.
Well, they say if a mum keeps on racing, they are so determined, because Mother Nature says other things. But of course, you build the family around your travelling and the care. But well done, Kiken Randall.
Well, the two athletes with the biggest smile on the start line have come away with a medal each.
Positivity works. And Kiken Randall really was the athlete who's created the momentum of this now amazing American team. Jeff Kiken Randall's husband does the interviews. Hopefully he'll interview his wife.
There's your champion. Finally, she is going to be the one who makes the headlines on the first day of the championships, and not Marit Bjørgen, who of course won the title 2 years ago in Falun. Not this time round, but I think Bjørgen's best chance, the skiathlon or the 10-kilometre.
Yes, I think she'll be back, without a doubt.
Well, I must say it's nice to have a little delay between the women's and the men's final. Gives everyone an opportunity just to get a breather, but it gives the finalists for the men's race an opportunity as well. Falla, Mike, fantastic run from her. She led from the start. There was never any doubt that she could outski everyone on that second climb.
Yes, Falla just had the form. Her run-out speed in the qualifying bettered everybody by over 2 seconds. And what a fight. She just didn't... It was relentless. She didn't give anybody a chance throughout the rest of the day.
And remember, she took the bronze in 2013. She took the bronze in 2015. She's turned the bronze into gold today. Here she is. Well, there you see the names, 3:02.34, very quick final. Diggins hanging on in there to take the silver medal. Diggins, who's 8th in the sprint championships. Here is Falla, the race winner.
I'm so excited and I'm so happy. It was a great day, and yeah, my skis are so good, and the conditions there are soft, but that's the way I like them. So, oh yeah, my tactique and everything just works out today. So,
yeah, you had you can't feel it, but we could see the gap that you had. Did you know? Did you take a peek at all on the corner?
I didn't know. In the last turn, I was thinking, oh, they're right behind me, because all day I've been seeing Jessie Diggins on the last downhill. She's been crazy. So I was really, yeah, she was my biggest fear, and I thought she was right behind me. Oh, this is just so big.
Congratulations on a very nice victory.
Thank you.
You're a world champion.
Thank you.
So well done to Falla. She adds the world title to her Olympic title and is going from strength to strength. Actually, she's only had 1 win this season, but 6 second places. It's not all over. The 6 men through to the final are ready to go. There's your man, Ustiakov. When he's on form, he's unbeatable. The sprints he's won this year, he's qualified first, and he qualified first today. Pellegrino, the World Cup leader in terms of sprints. Can he add the world title?
Well, I think he showed in the 3 outings so far. He's got a huge turn of pace, a little bit like Falla on the final climb. You need something special there just to try and gain a gap, gain the advantage of getting rid of everybody, so they won't have the advantage of tucking in behind you. What about Northug? Nobody expected this. Well, talking to Norwegians before the race, they said, no, he's no chance. And I think we said, well, he's a wise old owl, and maybe he'll get some of that memory back, and he has.
Now, remember what he did in the World Championships in Falun, Petter Northug. He's trying to keep everyone waiting. I think Pellegrino's on the line, just trying to stay focused. Northug, of course, Mike, blew away the field in Falun with a burst on the first climb. I think he caught everyone out with that.
He did, and I think they pulled him back a little. Then he put another burst, got rid of him. But Finn Hagen is the master of the final climb. He always seems to buy himself a little victory there.
Ustiakov, 2 sprint victories to his name this year. The first of them came in Davos. 1.6 kilometers at altitude. He knows he can cope with this. Hakala. Well, he looked scared in the semi-final. He looks petrified. Petrified just a minute before the start of the men's final. Number 6. It's Klæbo.
They call him the new Northug. He's in the final.
Well, it was only, what, 5-6 years ago where everyone under the age of 13 in Norway skied and looked like Petter Northug. There's the real man, Petter Northug. He's justified his inclusion in the team. There's no doubt about that, Mike. Getting through to the final. And when he's there, if he can stay with the pace, if the pace isn't too fast, he's got the best finish of all of them. Oh, he has. He's got that desire. He seemed a little less sparky the previous time out the semi. Yeah, I think the odds are against him because Ustiugov and Pellegrino are the two men who are going to be tough to catch. Klæbo has just got to feed off all his success this year. Second in the standings. He won the last World Cup in Otepää, and that was a 1.6 freestyle sprint as well. Klæbo there wearing 6. Northug on the near side. Hakkala for Finland wearing 10 in the middle of the field. Ustiugov taking it easy. It's Klæbo who's opted to take the lead, and the pace at the moment is slow. A slow pace, well, that will definitely play into the hands of Petter Northug. And I like the way that Klæbo in second place, he's even modelled his hairstyle of Petter Northug. They call him the new Northug, and he really is sparky when it comes to sprint racing. So Ustiugov it is, leading up the first little climb over the bridge and out of the stadium. Now that climb itself, Mike, is the equivalent of 5 flights of stairs, just to give you some idea of what they've done already. It's brutal, isn't it? And then they just slide their way up that hill. They make it look so easy. This section is relatively easy. It starts to climb again. Ustiugov, he's fearless. When he's laid his cards out, he's intending to run with this from beginning to end at the front. Now, it's not very often that someone falls in a sprint and gets through to the next round. There's a possibility that Ustiugov, who fell in the quarterfinal, could go all the way and take the title as well. I thought that was very expensive what he had to do with the broken pole. Then he was stumbled again. He had to pull the pack back again, but he seems to have energy for the final. And the pace being shown by the fact that Ustiugov has spread this field out. Ustiugov leads. We've got the youngster from Norway in second place. That's Klæbo. And behind him, the home favourite, Hakkala, who's trying to hang on in there. Northug back in 5th at the moment, just behind his teammate. Well, Klæbo's going to gear himself up, and so is, of course, Finn-Hagen Krogh in 4th place for an incredible turn of pace up this climb. This is, I think, where the race is going to be won or lost. Well, this is where Northug's got to try and hang on in there. Generally switches to skate 1 long before the rest of the field. Ustiugov might try and skate 2 all the way to the top of this climb. And for the first time, Ustiugov opens up a gap of 2 meters over Italy's Pellegrino. Klæbo still 3. Back in 4 at the moment, wearing bib 2, that's Krogh, and now Petter Northug looks to be, he's found wanting, Mike. There's a 5-meter gap. He's been found out. This pace is ridiculous at the front. Pellegrino getting his magic. Klæbo always with that very fast tempo for a big guy. Cornering skills absolutely essential at the top of the hill. It's between 4 men. Hakkala of Finland is out. Petter Northug of Norway will not contend the medals unless there's a big fall at the front of this field, and it's still Ustiugov leading with 350 meters to go. Under the Luta banner, they've got 1 corner to negotiate. Russia ahead of Italy, ahead of Norway. Those 3 looking like the medalists at the moment. Krogh's let it slip a little. Klæbo looks so composed, so does Pellegrino. Ustiugov setting himself up to be taken, but he needs to find some incredible power now. Well, we've seen that many times this season. Pellegrino is the master of the last 150 meters, and it's still Ustiugov of Russia. Pellegrino now coming strong. It's going to be Italy's gold medal. What a way to start the championships for them. And Ustiugov, the fastest qualifier, misses out. He's furious with himself for that. He did all the hard work. I think tactically Ustiugov perhaps not showing the rest of the field enough respect. No, what I did notice into the stadium, Pellegrino skis, he wasn't in the slipstream, but he was pulling back distance to Ustiugov, and so was Klæbo. Ustiugov had that big lead, but they pulled all that back. Well, on the glide out. The Italians have had such a rich history in sprinting, Mike, and the great master Zorzi springs to mind. They've done well at Olympics. They've never taken the world title. They have today. Pellegrino of Italy is the gold medalist here, and Klæbo looking a little bit disappointed, but it was a fantastic run from him. I think his success will come in the future. He's got the bronze medal, a time of 3:16.28. The final time was brutal.
brutal. Ushchikov tried to do it the tough way by breaking everybody else, but in that process he broke himself. 3:11.72 his time, but Pellegrino 3:15.84, the fastest time of the day.
There was a stumble from Ushchikov. Perhaps that cost him in the closing stages. But one thing that Pellegrino has, Ushchikov's got the strength, but Pellegrino has the ability to up the tempo to unimaginable levels.
And look at the different body size. He's a little like a lightweight boxer. You can really throw those limbs around in the smaller stature. But Ushchikov spent. Kleibo nearly falls here. I think that cost him the silver. He would have gone for it.
I think that was gone. I think it was defending bronze that was so important.
It was. He nearly fell back. Ushchikov, he's very disappointed in the closing pen.
Pellegrino verging on a veteran. Kleibo is a real youngster. He has got a fantastic future. Well, Mike, Norway keep their record going of getting a man on the sprint podium in every single World Championship. So that's 9 out of 9, but it's only the bronze this time round. Northug, the defending champion, has lost his title. Kleibo has got himself a bronze medal. Great racing from him. Ushchikov, was it that fall early on that cost him ultimately?
I think it was. He had to come back twice, and when you're chasing the pack like that and you've still got the final, leave him alone.
Get the vino ready. There's going to be some party in the Italian camp tonight. Oh. Well done to Federico Pellegrino. Well, there you see his tally, his first World Championship medal at the age of 28. It's been a long time coming. He leads the sprint standings this year, but he's only had one victory. That came in Falun in the freestyle sprint there. It's a very different course from Falun.
It is, and again, it's that important tempo that he has. He can find another gear, even when he's on exhaustion, like Ushchikov was. I have to say, Ushchikov is still coming to terms with it, just trying to get his breath back in the stadium.
Well, if his Tour de Ski performances are anything to go by, Mike, he could win the skiathlon, he could win the 50, he could win the 15. He's not going to be short of medals by the end of this championships, but it was the gold sprint that he desperately wanted to get his campaign underway.
He wanted that. He really wanted that today, and he made the journey tough with the snap pole, the stumbles that he had, and those gear changes early on. They do cost you later when it comes to the final.
Yeah, skiing smooth is so important. And Pellegrino was, I can't remember an instance when he was in trouble.
He wasn't. He always placed himself in the top 3, and I think that's key. He has the power to do that and then react when a change of pace like Ushchikov gave on the final climb.
Yeah, I can remember the days when people thought you needed to be 6'6" to be a champion cross-country skier. That's not the case. Pellegrino is closer to 5'6".
And look at his tempo. He needed that. The final 20 meters, the all-important final 20 meters, and Ushchikov just caught wanting.
Well, it's always nice to see a new nation on the top of the podium. Yeah, Italy have had success in the past, but a world title in the sprint, I think that is the gold medal they would have chosen, although they quite like the 50k as well. But I tell you what, the champion in the sprint 2 years ago also won the 50, but I can't see Pellegrino doing that.
I don't think Pellegrino's got the legs for 50, but yeah, Northug is special, and I think Northug did really well. In the end, he finished 5th, but he didn't have the fight. He doesn't have the form on the 4th time of asking up the final climb.
But will the selectors face criticism? There he is in 5th place.
No, I think he's justified all the criticism that has been coming his way.
So Fowler takes gold in the women's sprint. Pellegrino's the champion in the men's sprint. Well, darkness set in a long time ago here in Lahti. It's been a long day with the qualifying and, of course, then the knockout phases of the sprint, but so much drama. And there's more to come, much more to come. We run all the way through to Sunday week. And of course, it's skiathlon next, the ladies skiathlon. 2 times 7.5 kilometres. The men racing 2 times 15 kilometres. That is Andy Musgrave's big chance. So that's all we've got time for here tonight in Lahti. Thanks for your company. I think it's a sign of what's to come. We are not going to be bored over the next 10 days.
I love these sprints. Anything can happen. A lot of strange things did happen with Nielsen taking out Matveva. But well done to Italy, well done to Norway for the victories.
Yeah, Nielsen there taking a tumble in the women's, and that opened the door for Falla. Julie walked straight through and got herself a gold medal. And Italy will be celebrating as well with Pellegrino's victory here in the men's sprint.